and welcome to Behind the Booth, sponsored by Nerd Night News. I'm your host, Terry Mayo, and today I'm joined by the yin to my yang, Mr. Rick Tastic. Today we'll be talking to comic book creator David Schrader. Dave is the indie comic creator of Baby Badass and Rafael Garcia Henchman. Dave currently has a book called Cannibals on Mars that's live on Kickstarter right this very minute. I'm itching to get started with the King of Kenny Rogers lookalikes. But before we do, I want to remind you to please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. All right, let's talk to the gambler himself, Mr. David Schrader. All right, and we are back with another episode of Behind the Booth, presented by Nerd Night News. Again, we have Terry, Rick, and our partner in crime here for today. We have David Schrader. How you doing, Dave?
Good. How you doing? How's everybody?
Good.
Everybody's fantastic.
Glad to hear it.
Fantastic.
This is going great already, guys. This is
all right,
Yes.
Boom. We don't need anything else. I think we're good.
And that's a wrap.
And I'm out of here, guys. Take care.
It was beautiful. Well, Dave, you're here today, and you have a book that's out on Kickstarter right now, so I was hoping you might be able to kind of pleasure us with well, that sounded awkward.
Yeah, I'm not going to pleasure you.
How about just dazzle us? Dazzle us with the tales of your book.
I can dazzle you, but I will not pleasure you. That's just not in the cards.
We'll save that for when record's on.
This is a different type of podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Cannibals on Mars, and it's a sci-fi horror epic set on Mars, and there may or may not be cannibals involved. There probably are, hence the title. But it's a book that's kind of tangential to the Baby Badass universe, just kind of a little bit. It was a throwaway line in a book that's not even out yet for that series, where, you know, the future is so messed up that, like, there was a colony on Mars and then Earth just kind of forgot about them and didn't send anything back up there for a while. So shit happens.
Right.
So it's a fun book. Tony Donnelly, who did Albert Einstein Time Mason, did the art. It's really kind of an eclectic style that he has, very retro and technical kind of at the same time. Andre Salazar did the colors, and it's hand-painted watercolors, so it has a very different look to the book. He did a book called Pariah, Missouri, which was a really big graphic novel, and I really love the colors in that, and I asked him about it. And he does hand-painted watercolors, and he digitizes them and lays them back. So it just has a really unique kind of European comic look to it, and I thought it would be a little bit different, and it turned out great.
Yeah, actually, I picked up Pariah at a free comic book day from Salazar a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Comic Bug or somewhere in LA.
Right.
But great book. Great. The colors are amazing. They do look like that 70s Italian kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't kind of fake that digitally, like the when the watercolors pool a little bit, and like I think it's really hard to do that. It has to be the real thing. And so this book has that, and there's a lot of blood, plus sex and violence, and it turned out well with the watercolors.
Yeah. As you would expect.
As sex and violence does, right?
Yeah. You mentioned Tony, though. Tony Donnelly. Is this the first time you worked with Tony?
Yeah, he's a character. If you know Tony, he's really funny. But we tabled next to each other at the LA Comic Con, I want to say 2019, right before the pandemic hit in the fall. And Andres was next to us, and David Pepos was in the row, and so it was kind of a fun crowd. But, you know, as me and Tony talked about, he did a quick, like, not safe for work sketch, and he's like, I like this idea. Because, you know, my stuff is, you know, with Einstein, it was kind of bordering on PG-13, and he wanted to go a little darker and edgier, I guess. And so he did this sketch, and he was all into it. And so we kind of pushed for it to be finished sometime in 2020, and the pandemic hit, and it just took a while, like, to get all the colors done. And Clay Adams did the lettering, and we had the Nightmare Theater campaign. So it's like it got pushed a little bit to this year, but it was done last year. And then world events have kind of been taking us over a little bit. Like, there's, you know, I have a Google alert for Cannibals on Mars, just, you know, when the comic launched, and it came up a while ago, and I was like, what is this? And it was an article saying Elon Musk, if he settles in Mars, you know, and things don't go well for terraforming, they could turn into cannibals on Mars. And I was like, oh, so we're in the news now.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, the Russian invasion, like, you know, the Russians play a part in this story, and you know, to their I guess to their nature, I will say, at least politically and geopolitically. So it's a wild book, but it's kind of the moment now. It's interesting because we had finished it a little while ago, and it just kind of, it's definitely kind of in the news, Mars and settling Mars and all that jazz.
Isn't that cool though? Isn't that funny how life works out?
When you can wait, you can wait, and then the timing is right.
That's right. Let it marinate.
Yeah, and we only have like 10 more days, so we need help. We need help just to get over the finish line. We're close. We're getting close.
That's what I was saying. So today is Tuesday that we're doing this show. So you got about 8 days left in the campaign. But I mean, you're right there. So I know that you'll make it. So this is a
fingers crossed.
Your fingers crossed. That's right.
We're going to cross the start. Maybe that was the problem.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Better late than never.
That's right. That's what I live that way.
Was Cannibals on Mars always the title, or did it start off as an
it was, like I said, it was like throwaway line in a script from a book that's not even done yet. And it was more like, someone was complaining, like, we got this stuff going on down here, and there's, do you understand there's cannibals on Mars? And so to me, it just sounded like a pulp title. But I didn't want people to think it was a comic chasing a title, like I'm going to write it to the title. There was the whole idea of the terraforming outposts on Mars, an international coalition that's supposed to work together and showcase the best of human behavior and their ability to get along and do something important together. And of course, human beings being as they are, it doesn't go to plan.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh yeah, human beings are great. Everyone's so awesome.
The delicate fabric of society that we all find ourselves on is so easily torn.
It is extremely delicate these days.
Oh man, that's why comic books are fun. A little bit of escapism.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this has a little bit of reality in it, but I mean, at its heart, it's basically just a straight up pulp horror tale, blood-soaked and fun. Hopefully, I mean, I usually do more comedy type things. This is pretty straightforward sci-fi horror. There's a little bit of light elements here and there, but if you like the Alien movies, or if you like The Thing, John Carpenter stuff, and then there's tension involved, but it's a little bit of a mishmash of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the throwaway line, am I wrong in thinking that came from Baby Badass?
It did, even though it's not out yet. Like, Baby Badass is on hold for many reasons, but but eventually that would work its way in. But it's very, very adjacent, put it that way.
Got it.
What was it about that one line that hooked you?
Just the term itself just seemed odd. Cannibals on Mars. Like it seemed like it's this trauma type film mixed up with like some sci-fi space adventure, and the two go great together, like peanut butter and jelly. So I don't know. I thought the title kind of explained itself, and I just went with it. I still like it. And Christian Horn actually did the logo. He did the logo, the original logo for Baby Badass too. He did the logo. I had kind of a general idea how I wanted it, but it really kind of turned into something cool. And then Clay did some treatments to it. So even though this is not an ongoing series, it is open to possibly having a part 2 at some point.
Got it. This is a one shot, right?
A one shot. So it's a 1.5 shot. It's a one shot. And it can be a one-shot, but if people like it and we want to, kind of close the book on it, we could. But it's not a series. Like, there's only so many cannibals on Mars you can run through.
I mean, let's not be silly.
Right. Yeah, it's like,
what is considered a one-shot? One book or like a set of?
Yeah, no, like a one book, right, Terry? I mean, does a one shot ever turn into a 2 or 3 shot? Probably not. I mean,
only if it does good.
That's false advertising. It's kind of like there's no sequels for this movie. And it's like, did how much? I think there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah, we left room.
But
always leave room.
But yeah, one shot's basically like just a self-contained story. In fact, this was going to be just a shorter 24 or 26 page comic, and I kept throwing pages at Tony, and he was very patient, because sometimes my writing style can be a little helter-skelter, and he's like, you have 3 panel 3s here, you have 2 page 11s. I was like, just go with me here, like, just make it work.
You know what I mean.
I mean, there's a lot going on when I was writing it, but it was 40. It's 40. It's gonna be a 48-page book total. So, yeah, there's some extras involved and stuff. So it's it's a pretty good size Kickstarter.
Yeah, 48 pages is a hefty one shot.
Yeah, it's no Nightmare Theater 1 that you were part of, Terry. That was 272 pages.
Oh, that's the one that I backed.
Oh, is
Did you
it?
back Nightmare
Yeah,
Theater?
that was the first comic that I ever backed.
The first comic you ever backed?
Yeah.
Well,
Look at that.
you mean this one?
Ooh.
Look at that. Isn't that
So
nice,
spiffy.
people? Yeah, so we've got Nightmare Theater 2. That's the rewards are coming soon for people, and then 2023 we're doing Nightmare Theater 3D. So some of the stories will be in 3D.
Ooh.
And we wanted to take a year off and build up the the creators and covers and everything else, and kind of come back big.
That is really cool. 3D.
Yeah. So
I'll have to start working.
have a story ready. It doesn't have to be 3D, but if you have a 3D idea, that's good too. I think about maybe 20-25% of the book will be 3D. You don't want to do too much. It's kind of like Cannibals on Mars. You can't, you can have too many.
Yeah.
That's right. You can.
Yeah.
You can. You don't want to insult anybody.
Right.
So.
I'm good at that though.
Well, Dave, I know you can't stay on with us all day. I know I would love for you to, but I know you got, kids.
No, I could be here all day. So it sounds like you're just kicking
Okay,
me
cool.
off.
No. Well, I am. So, but I did want to give
the
you
longest 15 minutes of my life, Terry.
I know. That's what she said.
Yeah,
And
I set you up for that one.
Thank you. I want to give you a chance to promo your book one more time. So if we were at a convention and you were selling Cannibals on Mars, can you give us your elevator pitch?
See, you really put me on the spot. But it is NSFW, sexy, fun, exciting, sci-fi horror, blood-soaked Mars landscape. What do you think? You in?
Brilliant.
So in.
There's cannibals on Mars. Do I really need to tell you guys any more than that?
There's the title.
Yeah,
How
I'm
did
not
it
sure if the
happen?
title is clear enough.
How did it
Can you
happen?
explain
Don't
what
you
it
need to
means?
know how it happened and why and who? I mean, all the questions need to be answered. So basically, if you're not curious about what's going on Mars, then there's something wrong with you. So basically, that would be my pitch. I would start telling people there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
If anybody out there wanted to stalk you on social media, where would they find you?
I am at Schraderopolis, my last name, and then Opolis, on Instagram and Twitter. And also The Baby Badass on Instagram and Twitter. I keep those accounts.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Had a blast with you as always, Dave, and I'm hoping that we can get together at San Diego Comic-Con and break some stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for nerd nighting me, guys.
Of course.
And it was
I
great
appreciate
to meet you.
Yes. It was nice meeting you too, Rick. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Bye, guys. Well, thank you for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you know someone you'd like to see on the show, send us a comment down below so we can make that magic happen. While you're down there, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell, because why not? And since you're here already, check out some of these other Nerd Night News shows. Enjoy.